Good morning. Today I'm working on my 2004 BMW 330i E46 generation ZHP. I've noticed that some of the videos, or maybe all of them, that show oxygen sensor replacement show a slightly different setup, as best I can tell, compared with what I've got here. So I'm hoping this video helps with the later generation E46 models. So I'm doing a bunch of stuff today. I'm going to replace the ignition coils and the spark plugs. I'm at 118,000 miles, and I like to do them about every 55,000 miles or 60. I'm actually a little bit overdue on this set. And then we're going to replace the oxygen sensors. I'm not getting a code, but I want to do it preemptively. So ignition coils were 150, spark plugs were 40, oxygen sensors were 190. So got to throw some money at it today, but it will be well worth it when we're done and keep this engine running as well as it has been. So get the light here. The first sensor we're going to replace is the one that controls cylinders 1, 2, and 3. There it is. Let me get my finger there. Right there. And it winds itself around. Here's a clip, so that has to come out. I'll wiggle it so you can see. Oh, and the clip came out. I didn't want that to happen. Well, I'll fix that. And it snakes around. Let me get the light. My son is sleeping in this morning, so I don't have the help. I usually have. So it goes in the back of the cylinder head, and then it loops its way up here. So that's where it connects. So you need to remove both vanity covers from the cylinder head, this one, and then the one that's in the back here. There's lots of videos showing you how to do that. It's real easy. 10mm nuts here, 10mm bolt here, 2 of them in each end, and just they pop off. Super easy, you guys. So this rests in a clip. Let's see. Sorry for the shakiness. Let's see if I can. Here we go. So right here, it sits in a clip, and it just pops out real easy. Now, on the back, you push this tab, and that releases it from the little, see that little tab there inside, and then you pull it apart. So I don't know if I can do this with one hand. That would be interesting if I could. No. So let me shut the camera off. So again, I'm going to push this tab down. It'll free it up from interfering with you pulling. Here's the dividing line. Right here. This is the connector. This is the end of the oxygen sensor wiring harness. I'll do that now. Okay, as you see, we've got this end. Runs back down somewhere. Don't know where. Here's the oxygen sensor wiring harness end. And so it snakes underneath there. Back of the cylinder head. Sorry if you can't see that. I'll try to get better light. There. See it? See it down there? It goes around. Okay. Here's that clip. And then here is the oxygen sensor itself, right down there. And now it's time to get the oxygen sensor socket on there. And I'll stop the camera and do that. So one note about the oxygen sensor, there's a couple different tools that are available. This is one style. And see how it's slotted? That allows you to slide the tool, get the wiring harness in here, and you can slide the tool down to the head of the oxygen sensor. To remove it, that's where you stick your You'll need an extension, fairly long. This is my setup for it. And so again, I'll stop and we'll do that, and we'll show how it was done. We now see the oxygen sensor socket installed. And you see to the left, you've got the wire coming out thanks to that large slit in the socket. And so that's seated all the way down at the bottom, and it's sitting on top right here. So, and you're going to turn it to the left, of course, and that's going to unscrew it. Now, I already, because I wanted to practice a little bit before I set this up, I already broke it. So it'll take a little bit of effort. It's on there, but it's not. You won't be reefing on it forever. So we've got it cracked. I'm going to remove the ratchet and extension, and then we're going to turn it by hand the rest of the way. All right, gents. Before so you've got the socket on there. You've got your extension and your ratchet, and you crack it. You're actually going to need to turn it several turns. I found you need to turn it several turns before you can remove it by just kind of twisting the wiring harness and loosening it the rest of the way that way. So when you turn it, the lead moves with you, but you can just maneuver it around in the direction it's wanting to go. Just kind of pull it around. All right, once you've got it loose enough, you'll take your hand and you're going to get down at the bottom as close as you can, because that's the point you're going to want to turn it the rest of the way. You're kind of turning and jiggling it. And then you got to kind of twist that again. So it's a bit of a game of increments, and it's kind of slow going. So you can hear it turning. I could feel it turning. All right, I'm going to continue this and show you the result. Okay, we've got the old one out. It's on the right, of course, and the new Bosch sensor is on the left. It comes a little cap on it, and I think that helps. There's some anti-seize compound around the threads, so that's been done for you, which is nice. So here's the old one. Quite a bit of gunk on that side. And of course the new one is clean and lovely. So time to get the new one in. Alright, we've got the new sensor in place. We've got our socket on top of it, extension and ratchet ready to go. And there's the wiring harness here. And you'll it's loose. You can see how loose it is. So I'm just barely on. I'm not even quite threaded yet. And so this will work little by little, and see how the wire follows, and then you've got to snake it out, get it out of your way, and allow it to rotate further. And there it goes again. And before we get it too twisted up, move it again. Guys, this is not hard. I'm not trying to act like this is hard. I just want to demonstrate what you're going to experience when you do that. It's just a little tedious, and just take your time and don't be in a hurry. So I'm going to continue to tighten this down using the method I just showed, and we'll come back. All right, guys, I decided to make my life a little easier, remove a few this component of the secondary air pump system, or whatever the name is. I'm not remembering now, but because look, once I get that out, now I've got a lot more room to get my hand in there. This is definitely in the way, and this is not hard to remove at all. This clip here fits in this rubber grommet right there. Get out of my way. right in there. So it was in there, and then just pull it off and remove this clip. So it's, sorry about that, it's a screwdriver here, pulled to the left, screwdriver here, pulled to the right, and then that pops right off. And then this connector here was on there, but you just squeeze it. This is a squeeze one. Squeeze it and take it off. It's easy, and nothing feels brittle or like it's going to break or like you have to reef on it to remove it. So a little help moving that out of the way. All right, we've got the first oxygen sensor in, the first pre-cat oxygen sensor. I'm replacing both of them today. The first one that controls cylinders 1 through 3, and then the second one that's for cylinders 4, 5, and 6. So I've got it tightened down, and the torque spec for that is 37 foot-pounds. So I've used a good torque wrench, and if you don't already have one, do yourself a favor, invest in a good torque wrench. I've had this one since high school. It's 37 years old. It's Craftsman, and it hasn't given out on me yet. It works very well. When you hand tighten the sensor into the exhaust, you'll get to the point where you feel like it's as tight as it can be, but it's not. You'll definitely want to torque it to the proper spec. You'll see that you can turn it nearly another turn by torquing it properly. All right, now the next step is clipping the wiring harness in. Here's your first clip. And there's this one here, which popped off earlier, and I just reinstalled it. Pull up, clip it in there. And then we need to go underneath, pull it out. And it's going to eventually rest right there, but we're going to do this other sensor next, so I'm not going to bother tucking it perfectly, but basically it will go around and it will go underneath here. And again, I'll get this sorted out properly, but basically that's the loop it makes. And then you, let's see if I can, you gotta plug it back in. Try to do it with one hand. So make sure that this piece, the tab that we push in, is on this side with this little tab it inserts into. So it's super easy. Just push it in, you can hear it click, and then set it back. See here? That slide. Next step is to replace this sensor. It's in the back. It's for 4, 5, and 6 cylinders. And same procedure. We're going to get our socket on there and get the wiring harness unclipped along the way, and it eventually snakes up here and will go ahead and get in close camera. So push this tab, you gotta push it down pretty hard and wiggle it. And of course this hasn't been removed since it was installed in the factory, so it's a bit tight. There you go. Let's go ahead and set that, no, excuse me. Set this one back up there, and we need to get this guy out. Snakes out pretty easy, no problem. And now, we do that clip, pull it out toward you and push the wiring out. And there it is, ready to go. So this may be sticking up. Get this pushed out of your way, push it down, and that's going to make it really easy for the socket to slide right over the wiring and down. See, now it's in place. Then with I have a couple extensions on here. We're good to go. I'm going to crack that. It takes a little oomph, but once you've cracked it, see how easily it moves? Super easy. You have to keep adjusting the wiring so that you can get down in there, show, twist it around. All right, the old one's out, and it's great on the back one here. You've got a lot more room. Again, up here, right where my finger's pointing, that's the sensor for 1, 2, and 3 cylinders. And you've got this air pump in the way, not fun. But back here, component here, now we've really got a lot of room to work. So this one's easier, and you have room to get your paws down there, hand tighten it. And so I've done that. Extension. And if you do, please move in next door to me so I can borrow. It's going to move, and you need to move with it. You need to help it move along. All right, that's as far as we're going to get hand tightening it. We're going to stop, get the torque wrench on. All right, we've got the torque wrench on now, 37 foot-pounds. So we'll do that. And that's it. One more click just to make sure. Okay. All right, sensor's torqued down. Now we need to get the wiring clip back in here. This clip, pull it up and push it in. There's a little holder thing here for both the black wiring and the gray one here. And we want to come up. Takes a little doing to get it all nice and tidy here, but here's another spot that holds the gray one. Little clip there, super easy plastic clips to open. And then again, this, whoops, excuse me, this side, the push tab lines up with this. You just push it together and you hear it click, and then here this channel fits in between here, and that's it. Make sure the wiring is tidy as you'd like it, and it's not because I've got that twisted around. Let's fix that. Here's another place right here for the gray one. Okay, sure you get that in there. All right, this has to can you get the camera down here and show, see how they sit, nestle side by side, the gray and the black, and make sure it comes up here and everything's out of the way so that when you put the plastic cover back on, it's not going to get pinched. And you might have to play with this a little bit to get it just right, but that's pretty darn close, and that's it.